it's quiet, yeah.
Welcome to the Tristan Law Show. If it's your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Tristan Law, semi-retired pro wrestler, and today, I'm your host. And, golly, last night, WWE Raw premiered on Netflix, and it was a show. It was an event, but let's be real. Was it perfect? I don't know. We're going to look into that today. From Hulk Hogan to the commercials, there is a lot to unpack, and trust me, I hate moving so much that I still have stuff in the boxes because I don't like to unpack. But here's the question. Was Raw last night really a game changer? Was it a game changer? Was it everything that we hoped for? Well, today we're going to be talking about the excitement leading into the debut. We're going to take a look at what worked and what didn't work, because there's a lot of things that worked, and there were some things that just didn't work. We're also going to talk about the elephant in the room, or maybe Hulkster brother in the room. So let's look at the Hulk Hogan problem. I'm just going to talk about that first and foremost, because that's what everybody on the internet is talking about. So I feel that, let's just give you my opinion. The LA crowd was, when Hogan's music dropped, when he had the wide shot on the arena, and then the graphic appeared with Hogan's name on it, and then the music started playing, everybody went, oh crap, it's Hogan. And then everybody went, oh crap, it's Hogan. They booed the crap out of Hogan. If you ask me, 100%, the best person to put on in that place would have been Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold, what were you doing last night? That's what I really want to know. Where were you, and why was Hulk Hogan chosen? Look, maybe he was chosen because his company's one of the sponsors. The Hogan Bear, the Brother Bear, the American Bear, whatever it is. But I feel like Hogan probably wasn't the best person, because at the time when Raw was going on, he wasn't there. And then when Raw was going head to head with Nitro, Hogan was in Nitro. And then eventually towards the tail end, from 01, maybe 02 to 07, 06, Hogan was there. So Hogan didn't really spend much time on Raw. I don't think that Hogan was the right person. I also think that a lot of people booed Hulk Hogan because of, as a black man, I don't appreciate the things that Hogan has said. However, as a pro wrestler, I do appreciate Hulk Hogan for his contributions that he's made to the pro wrestling business. Maybe a lot of people still didn't forgive him. Maybe, it's still a little bit too new for a lot of people. Look, what's funny? Speaking about Hogan calling people the N-word, I got called the N-word last night. There was a guy at the job. He was pretty upset, and he said, "You effing N-word." And you know what? I looked at him and I shook my head. You know why? Because in 2025, I'm coming into this world with two things. I'm coming into this world with grace and mercy. The reason why I gave him a lot of grace and mercy is because, he's an old man, right? He might not have much time on this earth. And you know what? That's just the behavior that he thinks is okay. He was an Asian man, and I look at him too bro, you don't know your history? Because, a couple years ago, not long ago, when COVID, people didn't accept you. And I remember having an argument with somebody no, you can't treat people like that. That person here is not the person that caused COVID, okay? So leave that person alone. I'm not the person that was picking cotton. So I demand a little bit of respect. So you know what? For him, I forgive him. I give him a little bit of grace because maybe he doesn't know. But Hogan, come on, man. I think Hogan should know a lot better. I think a lot of the problem, too, with Hulk Hogan is that people in the 80s grew up with Hulk Hogan, or in the 90s, and Hulk Hogan was oh, eat your praise, eat your vitamins. But then it felt you know what? Maybe not you guys. But you know what? Even though I feel Austin was there, could have been better. You know who else could have been better? Despite all the stuff that had happened with this person, Vince McMahon would have even been a better choice than Hulk Hogan. Maybe a quarter of the crowd would have clapped for Hulk Hogan, even though a quarter still clapped, but maybe the boos wouldn't have been so overwhelming for Hulk Hogan. But let me tell you this, even though I'm seeing F Hulk Hogan, let me tell you how I think about this as a wrestler. And now I'm getting goosebumps thinking about this. If everybody hates Hogan so much, the worst thing for Triple H to have done when Hogan walked back through the curtain and said, you know what, brother, maybe he needs to hang it up. No. If everybody hates Hulk Hogan, utilize Hulk Hogan to make some money. Involve Hulk Hogan somewhere in WrestleMania, right, to where he is a big part, to maybe where he screws somebody or he has some kind of influence, almost like The Rock was the final boss. Utilize Hulk Hogan in that same exact way, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, if that's what he wants to call himself, to make some money. Let me know what you think about that in the comments right now, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it like on demand later on because, 12 o'clock Eastern time, you're probably still at work. But I really feel 100% in my heart that even though I don't mess with Hulk Hogan like that, I am a businessman and business is all about money. And the thing that I would do is I would use Hulk Hogan to make money, okay? I would utilize Hulk Hogan maybe like I would put Hulk Hogan against the top babyface, the same exact way they did The Rock, the final boss, right? Maybe Hulk Hogan could come out there and talk all the, I love Donald Trump and I love this and I love that, get all that heat, right? And make that work. You know what? I'm going to give myself a hand clap to that. Dominique McGregor's checking in. She says that business is about money. They could use him in another lane. I 100% agree. They can definitely use Hogan in a different lane. They could definitely use him in some kind of way to make money. But honestly, F Hulk Hogan. But Hogan wasn't the only unexpected twist. Let's talk about the commercials and how that changes the Netflix experience. You see, one of the things that I was shocked. No. Let me use a big word. Big word of the day. Today's word is flabbergasted. I was flabbergasted by the fact that they had commercials. Like, I pay for the Netflix subscription so that I don't have commercials. And I was shocked that WWE put in the commercials, the same as that commercials that we were watching on USA Network for us to watch. I wasn't a fan of that. I didn't like that at all because I don't want commercials. I walked into the whole entire thing, and I don't know, maybe I led myself to believe that, but I walked into the whole entire thing saying, you know what, maybe this could be like game-changing the way they present this, because this could be as live can be. Because if you've never been to a Raw or a SmackDown or a pro wrestling television taping for WWE, let me tell you what it's like. You get to see the wrestling, and when they go in commercial, they dim some of the lights. So okay, you're in commercial while there's a match in the ring. Now, when there's a commercial break and there's nothing going on in the ring, they may have stagehands setting up for the next thing or whatever. What they do is they dim the lights all the way down. They dark the lights all the way down. Now you're watching something on the screen. Maybe some kind of like, WWE doing good stuff in the community, or maybe like, hey, WWE is going to be coming here. Make sure to buy your tickets, or we'll be back here in 6 months. Be sure to follow WWE.com or whatever. It could be showing social media things, whatever it is that they're doing. So, but when you go to a PLE, like a premium live event, it's nonstop. It's nonstop. They don't dim the lights really. From the time that the lights go on, the only time that they turn off is maybe when the Undertaker's coming out, or if somebody has some kind of specialized entrance. And that's what I thought that we were going to get on Netflix. I thought that would be so cool. And that all the cheapos that don't purchase the additional package so that you don't get to watch commercials, they were going to get to watch commercials, and I wasn't. But you know what? I got bamboozled. So what I'm looking for is maybe I'm going to change my Netflix subscription, and maybe I'm going to get with the lesser package with the commercials, because you know what, if you're going to show them to me, might as well just get the package so I can just not pay for them elsewhere, because that's primarily why I use Netflix these days. I was getting ready to cancel Netflix, and then WWE said, hey, we about to come on Netflix. I said, we're going to take it. But let's look at something that's good for WWE. I'm an investor in TKO, right? I invest in stocks. If you ever want to have a financial conversation, hey, holla at your boy. I would always tell you what I know. But one of the things that I like for WWE is that they're not selling, the network isn't selling commercials. And I don't think that Netflix is selling commercials either. I think that WWE is directly selling the commercials themselves. If they're directly selling the commercials themselves, they're probably cutting out the middleman. Is Netflix getting a cut? I don't think Netflix is getting a cut. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. If I have the opportunity to ask to ask Vince McMahon, to ask Triple H that question. I would love to ask him that question. How does the ad revenue work this time around now that you're on Netflix versus on, USA or Fox? But I felt that with the commercials, without the commercials, this was supposed to be a more like immersive event for the fans. But then again, at the end of the day, it kind of takes away the uniqueness of why you have to be there. Because if I'm getting the same exact, experience that I'm getting at home that I would get in the arena, then why would I purchase a ticket when I could sit at home and just do the whole Jey Uso yeet thing inside my house? I don't know. For personal experience, though, I've definitely said I'm changing my Netflix plan. I got it. I would feel like, I felt like the action was supposed to be nonstop. But you know what? Even though it is nonstop, I feel like that everything is, the commercials are different. I feel like the commercials are less intrusive because when you're on regular television, you have to do your stop-starts at certain times to pay the bills. But on Netflix, maybe they don't have that obligation. Commercial aside, if you like what I'm doing, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It lets me know that I'm doing a great job. I come here about once or twice a week. The next episode we'll be back is on Tuesday. And we're going to talk about another hot topic next week. But the matches. Did we get something special in the matches? Let's take a look at the matches. In the whole entire 3-hour plus Monday Night Raw, we only got 4 matches, if I'm not mistaken. We got Rhea and Liv. We got Jay and Drew. We got the Roman versus Solo. And then we got CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. And it's like, when the 3 hours were done, the question that I asked myself was, what did they do in the entire 3 hours? In the entire 3 hours, they spent a small amount of time introducing us or showing us some Hollywood people, right? And one of the things that I've said in the previous episode before is that it's cool to show celebrities at pro wrestling, right? Because it makes pro wrestling feel like so much less of a dirty word, right? Back in the day, and it's changed a lot because now you have women that are pro wrestling fans, so it's a little less dirty. But when pro wrestling is, we like, ooh, you like pro wrestling? But when you look at it now and you go, oh, that's Macaulay Culkin. I don't see him on television or anything because he's not doing anything. But, oh, he's at WWE? Oh, Vanessa Hudgens is at WWE? Oh, Wale's at WWE? I love those people. I have to like WWE. It has to be cool. It also makes WWE feel like it's really special. And thinking about it too, they had like the Golden Globes or something like that in LA. So maybe everybody was still in town. They said, let's just stay in town for another day. But we got 4 matches for the whole entire night. And I think that Rhea Ripley defeating Liv Morgan to become champion, I think that was Rhea's comeuppance. She's been waiting a long time. She got injured. She had to relinquish the title. Liv won it from Becky Lynch. And then Rhea Ripley came through and took that championship back last night on the first episode of Raw on Netflix. I really thought that Becky Lynch was going to come in and have some kind of implications in that. But rumor and innuendo is that Becky was supposed to be in that segment, but they pulled her for The Undertaker. So if you missed it, when Rhea was leaving, you heard gong, 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 and then Undertaker came out, and then all of a sudden they did the whole fist thing, and she got the rub. She got the rub from The Undertaker. And the rub is when you get for example, when you put John Cena in the ring with like a newer star, one who doesn't have much star power, you put that newer star in the ring with a star that has higher star power, and you're giving them the rub to kind of bring them from here to up here. That's something that's happened. That happened with Rock and Hogan. That happened with Cena and Rock. Stuff like that. But I think it was a great match between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan last night. I think that WWE definitely brought out all the stops, all the stars, just to show everybody, what was going on. Got another message from Sonny Satar. He says, shame WWE didn't defend Vince or acknowledge his insight. Acknowledge him last night for his business work towards the Netflix doc piece. Thank you so much for your message. Okay, let me talk about that real quick. As a business, you kind of like, I agree with you. I appreciate Vince McMahon for his efforts and his hard work. And like I said on yesterday's episode, if he did something that was unconsenting with another unconsenting adult, I don't think that's cool. But, you know, the court of public opinion is in full-fledged right now. We did see some of the text messages from Vince McMahon. If you ask me, I think that Vince McMahon is a little bit freaky, you know, but the thing that I want to know is, let's look at all the evidence in the court and see what happened. And why are people calling me? People need to know. I'm on my live stream. I'm sitting here talking to y'all. So one of the things is that you can't mention Vince McMahon. You can't mention Vince McMahon because he's still a black eye in the company. It's kind of the same thing they did with Chris Benoit. But think about it like this, right? They backed away from Chris Benoit and didn't want to mess with Chris Benoit. And that was something that was a Vince McMahon decision. And now WWE is utilizing that same thing to back away from Vince McMahon. Yo, come on. It's one of the things that I usually always say. You can't get mad at me when I pull a you on you. And right now they pulled a Vince McMahon on the Vince McMahon. So let's not mention him right now. We acknowledge his contributions to pro wrestling, just like I acknowledge Chris Benoit's contributions to pro wrestling. But as a person, I don't think that Chris Benoit was a great person, because you don't, like, you know, your family and then think that everybody's going to say, wow, he was a great guy. And like for Vince McMahon, if he is guilty, you don't really do things to people that they don't want to do, and then we celebrate you for that. Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. Yo, the crowd was insane. The Netflix executives were in attendance, and I'm sure they looked around and said, whoa, we've definitely stepped in poop when it comes to the WWE. And they stepped in some good poop. They stepped into a bag of money. Because imagine just how crazy it is. Let me give you the magnitude of craziness. There has been no other time that every single person on this planet, and maybe they get, like, you know, Wi-Fi, they get Netflix up in the International Space Station up there in the sky. But there has never been any other time that every single person on the planet has ever been able to watch WWE Raw. There are people on every single inch of the planet that could watch, and that was amazing. People are doing the yeet thing in the arena. There's some people that do it in their house. I don't yeet in my house, okay? I don't have anybody to yeet with. But it added some star power to Jey Uso. It really makes you say to him, you know what? Bro, 2025 could be a year. Jey and Jimmy Uso were the two guys who I couldn't tell them apart. I couldn't tell which one was Jey and I couldn't tell which one was Jimmy, right? A couple years ago, put them in a blind thing. I didn't know who was who. But because Jimmy Uso had the opportunity to split from the bloodline and go out and make his own name, I could look at Jimmy and Jey Uso and be like, yep, that's Jimmy and that's Jey. I can definitely 100% tell. And I like that even though the brothers are back together, Jimmy and Jey Uso, the sons of Rikishi, and the brother of Solo Sikoa, we're going to talk about him in a second, they're able to stand on their own, and they're able to do their own thing. So I'm looking forward to that. But that was a great match between Drew McIntyre and Jey Uso last night. It seems like they made everybody win who we wanted to win last night. It was one of the things that a promoter, Gino Caruso from East Coast Pro Wrestling, taught me a couple years ago. Sometimes, man, you got to do that main event just to make people go home happy, right? And, like, you know, yeah, every now and then you got to make the bad guy win, but, like, it makes people want to come back and spend more money. But when you give that opportunity to where all the good guys win, and it's just like, wow, like, that was a really good show. It's a feel-good moment for everybody that everybody can talk about. Because, trust me, there's a lot of people that watched Raw last night on Netflix that haven't watched wrestling since Jesus was a child, and they haven't watched wrestling ever. They only heard about it, like, you know, let me see what this is. And you know what? They might have new fans today. Let's see what we got in the comments. Dominique McGregor said, it felt so real to see celebs that I was able to name other Hollywood stars. Yeah, that's the cool part, like I said, about pro wrestling, is that the thing about pro wrestling is that pro wrestling's for everybody. And one of the things that I liked when I was in the locker room, thank you so much for your message, one of the things that I like so much about pro wrestling is that it's a universal language. It doesn't matter who you like to sleep with. It doesn't really matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what your background is. We all speak the same language, whether you're in the ring or you're the person that buys a ticket to watch the show. We all speak the same language, and it's pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is inclusive, and pro wrestling is for everybody, and nobody really gets excluded. There's something in there for everybody. It's like going to a buffet. When you go to a buffet, You know what? You don't eat seafood, you don't eat that, but they got meat over there for you. You don't eat meat, you don't eat seafood, but you like lettuce. They got plenty of lettuce for you to eat. Pro wrestling is a smorgasbord of entertainment, and you just go and you just pick the parts that you like, and the parts that you don't like them. Let's see. We got Red Fire Gaming. Do you think that John Cena will win the 2025 Royal Rumble and then maybe win the 17-time World Championship to break the record? Honestly, no. The reason why I say no is because that's too easy. It's too easy, right? Maybe John Cena could be one of the last people, and you think, oh, John's going to win. Nope, John is not going to win. It's just too easy. It's a low-hanging fruit. I think the thing that makes pro wrestling, thank you so much for your message, the thing that makes pro wrestling so exciting is that it's unpredictable. When pro wrestling is predictable, it's less fun. So right now, everybody wants John Cena to win, but whoever eliminates John Cena, that could be a little story flowing into the Elimination Chamber, right? And then John Cena gets rid of them maybe a couple weeks before WrestleMania, and then maybe is able to go into WrestleMania and go get that belt. Or you know what? John Cena's got a year. Why do we have to give John Cena the belt at WrestleMania? Why can't John Cena get the belt at SummerSlam, right? Why can't John Cena get the belt at some other kind of PLE, right? So we are predetermined to believe that he's going to get that championship at WrestleMania, but you know what? It's the low-hanging fruit. I don't see John Cena winning the Royal Rumble, but you know what? I've been wrong plenty of times, but you know what? We'll have to see. The Tribal Combat match with Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa for the Ulafala. Let me tell you this. The match was good. I like the match a lot, but let's talk about the end. The Rock came out there and co-signed on Roman Reigns. And one of the things that I looked at, I was like, yo, what all happened at Backlash? What happened at WrestleMania? Oh, so like you just want to forget that, Roman? Like you just want to let The Rock be a man's now? After like, you know, y'all family, like y'all blood? But like he was coming for your kufi a couple months ago? He's part of the reason, like, you know, like why Solo's doing his thing. And it's like, yo, like you good? Like, you know, y'all was supposed to fight and like y'all didn't fight, but like you just good with it? Like, come on. He's over there co-signing on Solo Sikoa, and instead of saying, you know what, Solo? You know what? The man right now is is Roman Reigns. Let Roman Reigns be the man. But no, I wasn't cool with that. And then the Rock is on his Instagram, and WWE showed it on Raw last night. The Rock and Cody Rhodes had a drink together, and you know they dapped each other up like bros. Like, yo, so what was all that 4 months ago? Like, I get it. It's pro wrestling. Maybe The Rock's schedule is a little bit too busy and he won't be able to make it to do anything else like that. You know, is Roman... I expected them to not plant the seeds for Roman and Rock because it's already been planted. I expect them to water the seeds. And I don't think that WWE did a really good job watering the seeds right now. Let's see. We got another message from The Face on Mars. Why hate Hulk? I love Trump. Okay, so I don't think it really had... Okay, did it have anything to do with politics? I think so, but on the real small end. I don't really think it had a lot to do with politics. I think it had to do with more of Hulk Hogan as a person. There's a lot of people that look like me that haven't really, you know, fully forgiven Hulk Hogan for the things that he said. And it's like, one of the things that I learned, and listen to me when I tell you this, when a person shows you who they are, just believe them. That's it. You don't have, I think Maya Angelou said that. Shout out to Maya Angelou. When somebody shows you who they are, just believe them. You don't have to try to look anywhere else. And you know what? I see Hulk Hogan as a racist. I'm sorry. I apologize if I felt like that hurt anybody. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk as the main event. Golly, that was a good match. It was very energetic. The storytelling was amazing. But let me tell you something. That ain't over yet. The way that those two men laid in the ring and looked at each other across the ring, that ain't done yet. And I can't wait, and I'm calling it now. I'm waiting for the wives to come through. I'm waiting for the wives of Seth Rollins, which is Becky Lynch, and the wife of CM Punk, which is AJ Lee, to come and have a clash. That's what I'm waiting for. That's a WrestleMania match, a mixed tag team match. That's a match that I want to see. I would pay money for that. Or maybe at SummerSlam. I'm going to SummerSlam this year, y'all. But John Cena and The Rock made some big moves last night, and this could definitely shake up the road to the biggest stage of them all. If you ask me, usually after the Royal Rumble, it's the road to WrestleMania. But I think that, you know what? We're on that road, and we're already on the road to WrestleMania because of last night. Because last night was like WrestleMania-esque. It felt like a huge show. And Triple H said in the press conference that, people were saying last night that, it feels like WrestleMania-esque. It feels like a really big show. It did. And you know why? Because WWE made you feel like it was a big show. Let me tell you how WWE does that. They have the fanfare. They have all the celebrities there. They have the press conference. They have the red carpet. That's all things to make it look special. And it's all, if you ask me, it's all an old pro wrestling trick. When the pro asks, how many people were in the building? Oh, there's 500 people in the building. But maybe there was 250, right? You make everything just feel bigger and larger than life than it was before. And when you do that, it feels a little bit bigger. But Cena inserted himself into the Royal Rumble last night. If you ask me, I think that's okay, right? John Cena, the Royal Rumble's coming up in a couple weeks. We're definitely going to cover that after the show happens. And he's retiring, so let him do what he wants, right? Back in the day, it used to be like you had to earn your way into the Royal Rumble. But now it's like you just say, hey, I'm in it. You know what, brother? Since you retiring, we're going to give you the parking spot. And if you want to be in it, you know what, brother? You're in it. Anybody going to argue with that? But the Face on Mars, was it the Face on Mars? No, it was Red Fire Gaming said earlier. Do I think that Cena's going to win that? Nah, I don't think Cena's going to win that one at all. But it's definitely, we have to keep watching. We have to keep watching to see what happens. The Rock's performance last night. Look, The Rock was not the final boss. Who was he? There was a large percentage of the time he was Dwayne Johnson, right? That's his shoot name. That's his government name. When you look at his driver's license and social security card, it says Dwayne Johnson. Right? When you look at like his bank account, it might say like, The Rock, because that's where most of the money came from, right? But it's just like he was The Rock for only a small part. He wasn't the final boss. And it makes you wonder what's going to happen next to the Bloodline saga. Is it done? Is it over? Is there still more? Are they going to let them cool down and then reignite them back up again? I don't know. But you know what? If you like what I'm doing, just hit that subscribe button. That means a lot. When when we're done with this, share this with somebody, right? Because this is cool what I do. It's cool what we do, that we all get to sit around and hang out and talk about pro wrestling. I love me some wrestling, right? I don't really watch many other sports. Okay, don't lie. I don't watch any other sports, but I watch wrestling, and I love wrestling. I wrestled in the ring. The one of the terms that they call wrestling fans is marks, and I hate when wrestlers call fans, paying fans like you, marks. The reason why, because the biggest marks are the people that are in the ring. Yeah, it's predetermined and, we all know what it is, but the people in the ring were the people that we were so enamored by what we saw that we decided to go give away our money to learn how to do it. I'm a mark, even though I'm Tristan. So now Triple H called this the Netflix era. Let me tell you what this signifies. This signifies that the Paul Levesque era is over, and I don't think that Triple H really liked the Paul Levesque era, right? I don't think he is the person that's like self-serving. He doesn't want to, as we say in the pro wrestling business, he didn't want to put himself over. He want to put everybody else over. But I think that Triple H utilized the Netflix era term to get him from behind the Paul Levesque era. I think the Paul Levesque era was a transition period between Vince McMahon leaving and what we have now. The Netflix era is different. It felt really different last night with all the lights, the drones, the cameras that were on wires and stuff like that. Some of that stuff was cool. Some of that stuff was like, at one time the camera was on the wire going down, and I'm like, man, I really hope that thing don't fall off. But like I said, being in the Netflix era, it's the Netflix era because every single person can watch live at the same time. There are people that are international that will be able to watch SmackDown on Netflix. We don't get that here in America. We don't get all the cool stuff. They took the WWE network from us first, and we just don't get the cool stuff here in America. It's supposed to be fun when everybody gets some, but we ain't really getting none here in America. Excuse me. But was it perfect? I think it was perfect enough. Was it special last night? I think that it was special enough. WWE took the leap into streaming their flagship show. And now I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen and everybody in between, we are living in the Netflix era. But But all we have to do right now is just wait and see where this road takes us. There's so much more meat on the bone, and it's not a throwaway show. It's not a Backlash in France. It's not a WrestleMania. It's not a Elimination Chamber in Montreal. This is a Monday Night Raw. WWE has to do it again next week. It's not just something that we're going to be like, wow, that was a great show. In a year, they're going to do another one. Or in a month, they're going to do another premium live event. No, not even. Let's not even go that far. When I used to wrestle, right, and sometimes when I know I had a good match, and just to put the battery in everybody else's back to make them go out and put on a hell of a show, I would always say, now go follow that. So now it's like WWE, Triple H, it's like tonight is NXT. The Rock is going to be on NXT on CW. They got to follow that. Then after that, they got to follow that again with SmackDown on Friday. And then next week, you have to try to top what you did last week, right? Don't get it wrong. Every single thing is not going to be a home run, right? The Yankees don't win every game. The Knicks don't win every game. And obviously the Giants and the Jets don't win every game. But you know what? Sometimes when you get a home run, and you appreciate it for what it is. And one of the things that I say in pro wrestling is that you are only as good as your last match. Just like I say here, I'm only as good as my last episode. And WWE Raw, you're only as good as last night. Thanks so much for joining me on today's episode of the Tristan Law Show. If you like what I did, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. It's a compliment and lets me know that I did a good job. You want to hang out with me on social media? You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at The Real Big Tris. Follow me at The Real Big Tris. And if you message me, you play Call of Duty, let's go pew pew together. Thanks so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Enjoy your wrestling. Share this with somebody that likes it. I'll see you next time.
Flashing red lights, driving at night, windowless ride, feeling alive.